Hey up viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist. Welcome back to Sir You're Being Hunted, this episode 593. We are slowly but surely closing in on the big 600 and all that. So, as I said actually in the last episode, ladies and gentlemen, if you, want to participate in the proposed little three-way Q&A that we're hoping to do for episode 600, then do just leave some questions down in the comments, or maybe on the comments of the last video, just leave us a comment that says something like, here are some Q&A questions, or a question. You can leave as many as you want and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously by the time this video goes out, I will most likely have also posted a actual announcement on the community tab of the General Red Strategist YouTube page, in which I just outline our intentions for the Q&A and all that. So, just wanted to make sure, I get that out the way first thing, because it's a big thing at the moment. But with the fact that I always like to do special event, Q&A, stuff like that, every sort of 100 episodes in Sir or whatever. So, as usual, of course, we're back here in Sir You're Being Hunted. This is the same map as in the last episode, in case anyone's wondering, because we're just going to do another podcast-style episode and all that. Because I was thinking about maybe doing another challenge, but then again, nah, I don't think I will actually today. Not right this second, I don't think I'll do one. I might do another one again very soon, probably another, maybe another robot slaying challenge, something like that. Do you think that would be a good idea? Because I think that would be a good idea. So, it's, thing is, it's a very hot day here in the UK at the moment. It's it's forecast to be hot all week, but from next week it's supposed to be getting a bit cooler. Now, the thing is, by the time this video goes out, probability is, this will be a good few days after I recorded it, in which case this topic of conversation may well be already out of date, who knows. But it definitely feels like here in the UK, early September, I don't know, last couple of years, it always feels like we've had sort of a early September heat wave. That seems to be something that's becoming more regular here in the UK at the moment. Yes, we are on the North Island, for anyone who's curious. This is also a rural biome. But the thing is, it's so warm at the moment, and obviously I'm ensconced here in my flat at the moment, and it's a great flat. Of course, problem is it's got great insulation, which means it does get very, very warm, even when you have the windows open. At the height of the day, especially in the afternoon, once you get to about midday and the sun kind of hits the windows, because the thing is, the windows in my flat, they are south facing, and they're slightly inclined towards the west. So what that means is, from midday, basically the sun really hits them, and so my flat really warms up during the day, which in winter months that's good. That's what you want, because if it's a sunny wintry day, then at least you'll get a little bit of heat. And the flat is well insulated, like I say, so it retains heat very well. It just means that in summer it's going to get very, very warm. Well, going to get very, very warm. I mean, it has been very, very warm, I should say, so far and all that. Because the thing is, in June, July, it got very warm. And that's the thing, I need to kind of look into some tips for how to cool things down. What I do want to invest in? What I want to buy? I've been looking around in local shops to see if they sell any, and surprisingly they don't. But an ice cube tray, ladies and gentlemen. Because the thing is, certainly like today, for example, it feels like over the course of this afternoon I've just been going back and forth to the kitchen every sort of so often, just to get myself fresh glasses of water to stay hydrated and all that. Because that's the thing, in these kind of temperatures, especially when you're in a flat or a house like mine where it's very, very warm. Of course, you're going to be sort of perspiring a bit constantly. Not that much, but it'll be happening constantly. And of course the danger there is that without even realising it, you're dehydrated before you know it. And the thing is, I particularly find, when I get properly dehydrated, I usually get obviously a little bit of headaches, stuff like that, which then usually go away as soon as I start drinking more water. So I find that, in summer I always just find myself sat there with a glass of water next to me, whenever I'm playing games on my computer, whenever I'm just doing work, whenever I'm sat in my lounge just reading, anything like that. Always have that glass of water. And I always find, when you wake up in the morning, you get out of bed, usually one of the first things I'll do, other than have a shower, is straight to the kitchen, get a glass of water, and just sip some water down. Because the thing is, you know, when you've been in bed during the summer, when it's been warm as hell, you've been lying in bed slowly sweating into your bed sheets for like 7 hours or whatever. You know, you're going to be dehydrated when you get up in the morning. You need some water and all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this episode seems to be turning into Red's hydration tips. Stay healthy, ladies and gentlemen, in these hot summers. You got to, and all that. But yes, health tips with Red. Health and hydration tips with Red, whatever you want to call it. And the thing is, you know, this is what we can expect more and more of as the years unfold, with the way the environment's going and all that. The climate crisis and all that. If this is the new norm, then we are going to have to get very, very used to hot summers where people are going to get dehydrated. But if you think about the amount of stress, though, that's going to put on the national water system, doesn't bear thinking about, does it? I mean, you have to think about it, though, because it's obviously basic human need and all that. But yes, question is, you know, here's the million-dollar question. Knowing the UK, knowing the environmental stresses that humanity is under at the moment, how long will it be before the UK pulls its finger out and actually starts repairing some of its water infrastructure? Because the thing is, you know, if you follow any UK news over the last few months, it has just been, well, the UK's track record for water infrastructure has not been great. There's just been a lot of controversies around, for example, pollution in waterways, like pipe infrastructure that is just basically old and Victorian, just not really being fit for purpose anymore, and in need of vast improvement. Friggin' private water companies friggin' losing tons of water through leakages, billions of pounds worth per year and whatever else have you. And it really is just pain in the arse, ladies and gentlemen. It's concerning, because it is one of those things where you think they've got to get a grip on this, because if this is going to be the new norm, then we're really going to need water infrastructure that is fit for purpose in the 21st century and all that. But that's the thing, you know. Again, I always say I try not to get political, and then I have episodes like this where I'm talking about very much political things, but, you know, it feels like a lot of infrastructure and a lot of stuff in the UK at the moment is just in a shambles. It really is. And I hate to use sort of the big B word, but I don't think Brexit has at all helped with any of this. Sorry, I'm letting my Remainer bias show through a little bit here, but that's just how I see it, ladies and gentlemen. I really do not see the benefits of leaving the EU at all. But putting that aside, you know, obviously the other big controversy here in the UK at the moment is the fact that there are tons of public and school buildings in the UK where it's been found that they've been built with RAAC, which is like a reinforced something aerated concrete, something like that. And apparently that concrete, it's recently been revealed, is basically fucking crumbling to dust. Because a lot of these buildings that it was used in the construction of were built back in sort of like the 60s or the 70s. And despite repeated warnings to government and local authorities, so many of these buildings have not had proper maintenance done to them in order to upgrade their building materials to make sure they're actually fit for purpose. And so now there's a lot of concerns here in the UK about the fact that essentially you could be seeing buildings made of this RAAC concrete. Sorry, that's a redundant extra concrete of this type of concrete, whatever it's technically called. Basically, concerns about this thing just sort of crumbling away over time. Because the problem is, apparently the way it sort of works is, it's like a lightweight concrete because it's very porous. It's got like lots of little tiny porous holes in it. But the problem is, that means that water can easily get in. And the danger there is that if water permeates that, it can get to things like steel rebar that lies underneath the concrete, and it can essentially slowly degrade it. And because that steel rebar is essentially covered in lots of concrete, there's no real way to check it properly. So yeah, it's a crappy old 1960s, 70s, oh my goodness, Jesus Christ game. Freaking like spikes all of a sudden, don't know why that is. Why are you doing game, please Please be reasonable even. Game, for the love of God, what are you doing? Why is it lag spiking? Okay, let me just jump cut. Right, okay, we're back in. I'm hoping that's stabilised, whatever the hell that was causing those weird little lag spikes all of a sudden. It probably hasn't, they'll probably still occur. Ooh, felt like there was a little bit of... Ooh, shit. Nope, they're still happening. I don't know why that is, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the game's freaking out, because it's just as freaked out about the whole controversy here in the UK at the moment about our AAC. Maybe it's just as freaking out just as much as we are and all that, who knows. I have no idea. It'll probably stabilise in a bit. Ooh, good as real. What's going on here then? What's that about? I do sometimes wonder if maybe it's a sign. I don't know, because maybe it's a sign that my PC could be getting, not on its last legs, but certainly is getting a bit old. Because the thing is, my current PC rig, my PC Specialist Vortex Fusion Elite, or whatever it's called, technically, you know, I bought that in something like October of 2018, so it is what, like coming up to about 5 years old now. And as I understand it, you know, the average lifespan of most computers usually is about something like 4 years, something like that, 4 or 5 years. So yeah, maybe my computer's just getting older and older. Maybe it's just a sign that in the next year or two I am potentially going to have to think about upgrading to a new PC, something like that. But I think it'll be fine for some time to come just yet. I don't think we need to think too much about that just yet. But definitely have to start saving up a little bit of money. Because the thing is, this current build, when I bought it, that set me back a lot of money. It did. Because it's a more high-end computer and all that. I mean, it wasn't the most expensive type of gaming rig out there. I mean, I know there's types of gaming computers you can get, which are, you know, in the region of something like, game, computer, stop, don't lag. Don't lag out like that now, you bitch. I know there's certain like gaming computers out there which can set you back up to like £1,500 and stuff like this, and I just think, eesh, good lord. That is a lot of money to throw down a PC. I mean, the thing is, like, £1,000 for me, that's probably the sort of upper limit of what I'd be prepared to pay for a PC. That's roughly how much I paid for my current build. Because I, you know, saved up a lot of money for it, but indeed, any more than that, and I just think, no, I kind of balk at the price of it. So I just be like, no thank you. Not sure I want to pay that much. But, you know, I mean, the thing is, for all intents and purposes, my computer does, for the most part, still work fairly well. It does have moments where it does sometimes feel a tiny bit slower than it was when I first got it, but not that much slower.
Nothing to see here.
But, you know, it is just little things like that when games start lag spiking for no apparent reason that do just make me wonder if maybe it's a sign that the hardware is getting older and older and could do with either an upgrade or, who knows, maybe even replacing at some point. But that's a question for the future. I don't need to worry about that right now, ladies and gents. And I'm not going to. Though actually probably what I should do is get my USB sticks out and maybe just preemptively perhaps start taking some backup copies of things like important files, stuff like that, particularly work-related stuff. Probably would be a good idea, actually. But we can do that in the future, don't you worry, folks. That's something for me to worry about in my own time. Don't you fret your pretty little heads about it, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be fine. Oh, God, these guys are coming out because I freaking disturbed all those birds. Man, these fucking birds. Alright, how are we going to approach this final one? Do you want to sort of draw them towards the forest, maybe? Or maybe what we want to do is draw them out over here. So this side, right, put that there, then I use the forest as cover. Forest and fields. See, Uldred puts his mind to it. He can still stealth it. I feel like I say that very often these days. Alright, go around here then. God, Jesus Christ, even with my fan on it's still very warm. I know I'm returning to the original topic of the video here, but yeah, let me have another sip of water. How's the weather been in your locations though, everybody? Because I know I've got quite a few international viewers from places like Germany and Australia. I'm sure it's probably super hot where you are. Very, very hot, I would imagine. Yeah, I almost don't kind of want to think about that, actually, because I have family who do live out in Australia, and they live out in probably what is one of the hottest parts of Australia, out in the friggin' outback, in one of these, like, flipping little towns. It's just out in the middle of nowhere, in, like, the Northern Territory, wherever it is. Middle of fucking desert. So I cannot imagine how bloody hot it would be where they are right now, which would be a friggin' nightmare. But it makes me glad, yes, that I don't live in a place like that. Because, you know, being British and all that, I would not be able to handle the heat. Because that's what we're like. Are you stuck? No, you're not. You are actually moving. I was just wondering what he was doing for a second there. He was like hanging around and his patrol was going away. He weren't moving at all because he was a little bit of a freak, a little bit of a weirdo. Right. Squire, I kind of wanted to check that village out, but if he's going to be there, he's going to be a wee bit of a problem, isn't he? Isn't he just, ladies and gents? Alright, well, let's maybe just ignore them for now. We'll make a beeline back round towards the jetty. And as we do, drink more water. Lovely. Yeah, like I say, I really need to invest in an ice cube tray. Because obviously, you know, you can get cold water from your tap and all that, but in this heat, obviously your glass kind of warms up very quickly. Whereas if I had some ice cubes, I could just drop a couple into the drink, and that way it'd stay cooler for longer. Or maybe, well, maybe actually what I should do is actually just go to my fridge, because I have a couple of bottles in there which I just keep chilled water in, and I often sometimes forget about them. I should be drinking really from them rather from a glass of water. Here's a bit more hydration tips with General Red. Here, there you go, folks. Indeed. Alright, okay, so we'll head back across to the centre island, we'll deposit these device pieces off over there, and then we shall wrap the episode up. But indeed. You know, actually I can't sort of... What doesn't bear thinking about is, you know, obviously I'm, you know, still a young man dealing with this heat. Can't imagine what it must be like, though, for, you know, people like the elderly, or people with certain medical conditions which make them really feel the heat. I imagine for them it's pretty unbearable. Because the thing is, like, it just makes me think actually of my grandmother on my mother's side of the family. I know this is a very personal anecdote, probably isn't really of any interest to you watching this, but, you know, for example, like we, and by we I mean myself and members of my immediate family, you know, we sometimes worry about her, because one thing we've noticed is, even outside of summer, she don't really drink a lot of water. I mean, she might drink a lot of, like, coffee and stuff like that, but the problem with that stuff is that, obviously, that makes you freaking need to go to the toilet more, which is not good if you're trying to stay hydrated. Really, you need to be just drinking water more and more often, you know? The thing is, you don't just have to drink the water on its own, maybe get, like, a soft drink from somewhere, mix in a tiny little bit with the water, drink that, get yourself some nice cloudy Sicilian lemonade or something. Oh my god. I remind you, actually I did my grocery shop earlier today, and I was in one of my supermarkets. I didn't even actually bother looking at the soft drink aisle. I should have done, really. Probably would have been worth it, because he probably would have had some nice summer drinks left over to buy. Maybe some, like I say, Sicilian cloudy lemonade, or maybe something different. Maybe some, like, oh my god, like if you go down to Marks and Spencer's, for example, to the food hall, usually during summer they have all kinds of stuff. Granted, it's more expensive, but just as a one-off summer treat, it's nice, you know? Get some, like, raspberry lemonade or something. You know, you can, like, pour a little bit of it, into a glass, then get to, you know, top it up with water. See, that's also where you'd want some ice cubes. So one of the reasons why I want an ice cube tray. I'll have to look on Amazon, because there's probably good ones you can get over there, isn't there? You know, you can get everything off Amazon these days. Yeah, it just seems surprising to me that there's so many, you know, homeware stores here in the UK, and, you know, I'm not too far away from any of them, and every single one I've been to, they don't have friggin' ice cube trays. It just seems so strange to me. Alright, time to wrap up here then, ladies and gentlemen. So, Facebook to the links down below, along with the link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated. But other than that, let me know how you're dealing with the summer heat, and of course, as always, keep your questions coming if you want to participate in the 600th episode Q&A and all that. Goodbye, everybody. Where are we? Alright, we're going back the way we came, that's good. That's the right route. So we don't have to worry about the spooky car showing up, but the question is, where did its occupant go? Or was it a ghost car? Who knows? Right, round here. Back the way we came. Oh, what the? My engine just cut out? What the heck? What's going on? Why did my engine stop? Oh my god, you saw that, right? Oh, there was a figure on the back of the van. Oh, that was horrible, I didn't like that. Okay, okay.